Thank you. Thank you for setting the tone of the day. Lovely. I think this has been a very graceful start to the event indeed. Before we commence the proceedings on stage, I would request our delegates, our guests to walk in and occupy the seats. Please make yourselves comfortable. And that way the view from here is also more heartening. So if you could all please occupy the seats. You can all come forward. Please do come forward and make use of the space in front. I hope we are ready to start. Good to start, right? Yes, I'm getting a few emphatic yeses. So I'm going to take that as a sign of encouragement and begin. Namaskaram again. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is truly a delight to have you all here at the very effervescent Kochi, the Queen of Arabian Sea, the ever-developing, ever-growing commercial capital of the state of Kerala, one with serene coastlines and ambitious skylines. Both of those come beautifully alive in the city of Cochin. And the Cochin Center of IAA takes great delight in and is truly thrilled to welcome you all to Kochi and welcome you all to the iconic Monsoon Architecture Festival. I am hoping there will be some applauses because this pause was for applause. With monsoons, as you know, there is a striking auditory element, the drumming sound, the rustling of leaves and whatnot. So I am hoping there will be an exciting auditory element to our conference as well, to this confluence as well. With the permission of our guests, our speakers, our chief guest, may I take a moment to set the context for the day. We say architects दुनिया को आकार और सपनों को साकार करते हैं. Architects are those who accord shape to the world and offer life to dreams. This is one unique confluence of those who shape the space, shape the world from distinct parts of the globe noted for its climatic and environmental conditions, from the tropical monsoon and tropical rainforest regions of the world. This is an event that has been noted for its unique regional specificity. This is the third edition of the Monsoon Architecture Festival, part of the Living Monsoon series that was conceived a decade ago. And of course, The monsoon architecture as a concept, as we know, emphasizes the interconnectedness between architecture and nature. The festival per se reminds us of an interconnectedness of another sort. How seemingly distant points of the globe are more akin to one another, and how the geographical boundaries remain porous in the way the land, the landscape, and the people interact with nature and share an architectural language. So the quest to further appreciate and understand the nuances of this architectural language continues as we gear ourselves, prepare ourselves for the opening ceremony of the Monsoon Architecture Festival 2025. And once again, may I extend a cordial welcome to all our guests who have traveled from far and wide to add on to the understandings of this niche area. In the language of the land, Malayalam, of course, അറിവും അനുഭവം പങ്കുവയ്ക്കുവാനായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു വേദിയാണ്. പ്രകൃതിയുടെ ഒപ്പം ചേർന്ന് നിൽക്കുന്ന പുരോഗതി എന്ന ആ ഒരു തത്വത്തെ മനസ്സിലാക്കിക്കൊണ്ട് മുന്നോട്ട് പോകുക എന്ന ഉദ്ദേശത്തോടു കൂടി ഇവിടെ എത്തിച്ചേർന്നിരിക്കുന്ന എല്ലാവർക്കും മോൺസൂൺ ആർക്കിടെക്ചർ ഫെസ്റ്റിവൽ എന്ന ഈ ഉത്സവത്തിലേക്ക് സുസ്വാഗതം ആശംസിക്കുന്നു. And with that warm welcome, we begin the inaugural ceremony of MAF 2025. Let us begin on a prayerful note. To lead us in invocation, may I invite on stage architect Nandana.
വിശ്വവിധാനങ്ങൾ പാലനം ചെയ്യുന്ന വിശ്വേകനായക കൈ തൊഴുന്നേ, സത്യവും ധർമ്മവും നീതിയും കാക്കുന്ന നിത്യപ്രകാശമേ കൈ തൊഴുന്നേ. വിശ്വവിധാനങ്ങൾ പാലനം ചെയ്യുന്ന വിശ്വേകനായക കൈ തൊഴുന്നേ, സത്യവും ധർമ്മവും നീതിയും കാക്കുന്ന നിത്യപ്രകാശമേ കൈ തൊഴുന്നേ. നേരിൻ്റെ കാഴ്ചകൾ ഉള്ളിൽ തെളിയാനും കൂരിരുൾ പാടുകൾ മായ്ക്കുവാനും നേരായ മാർഗങ്ങൾ കാട്ടിത്തരാനും നേരിൻ വെളിച്ചമേ കൈ തൊഴുന്നേ. വിശ്വവിധാനങ്ങൾ പാലനം ചെയ്യുന്ന വിശ്വേകനായക കൈ തൊഴുന്നേ.
Thank you. And with that soulful prayer, we begin the opening ceremony. The first step of any creation is illumination. And in the traditional form of beginning the event, we start with the lighting of the ceremonial lamp. We have our chief guest, our special invitee, and all our most respected special guests who have come down. I would first like to invite them on stage, the distinguished dignitaries, to light the ceremonial lamp and mark the commencement of the day. It is an absolute honor to have with us a forward thinker, a proactive leader, the Honorable District Collector, Shri NSK Umesh IAS. We welcome you, sir, to lead us in the lighting of the lamp. Our special invitee, Mr. Chandran Pillai, is known for his very meticulous approach towards the development of Kochi. The chair of GCDA, we request you, sir, to please join the league of guests in lighting the lamp. We have with us much respected and acclaimed names from the world of architecture. May we have Mr. Jitendra Mehta, Architect Jitendra Mehta, National Vice President of IIA, Architect Vinod Siriak, IIA Kerala Chapter Chairman, Architect KT Ravindran, the jury panel head, and of course, the IIA Cochin Center Chairperson, Architect Sebastian Jose, Architect V.N. Ramachandran, the past chair of IIA Cochin Center, and the convener of the event, Architect Abhishek Xavier. May we request you all to please join me on stage and begin the day ceremony with the lighting of the lamp. We say, Atma Deepaha Bhava, be your own light. We have these distinguished guests who serve as source of light and illumination to many through their practice. While of course we strive to deliberate on and celebrate monsoon, there must also be light to appreciate it. As we know, the flame always looks upward, and we are always seeking that divine connection. सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. This is a chant seeking for good health, wealth, happiness and prosperity unto all. And with that larger goal in mind, to make the world a better place to live in, quite literally a better place to live in, the Monsoon Architecture Festival 2025 has been officially inaugurated by our chief guest and our preeminent guests of honor on stage. Today, we seek to have a free flow of ideas, both vertically and horizontally, to learn from the masters, from the stalwarts, through various panel discussions and presentations on stage, and also to interact with the peers and understand the realities in different parts of the world and learn and grow. With this in mind, we will begin with the chairman's address, the proud host of the day, a forward thinker himself, a very purpose-driven leader. May I invite Architect Sebastian Jose, the chairperson of the IIA Cochin Center, to address this illustrious gathering this fine morning. Good morning, sir.
Respected guest of honor, Sri NSK Umesh, Honorable District Collector of Ernakulam, Sri Chandranpilla, respected Chairman of GCDA, Honorable Vice President of IEA, Architect Jitendra Mehta, Honorable Jury Member, Architect K.T. Ravindran, Honorable Treasurer of IEA, Architect B. Sudhir, IEA Kerala Chapter Chairman, Architect Vinod Suryak, our distinguished guest speakers and panelists from across the globe, esteemed delegates, friends from the trade fraternity, and my dear friends, a warm welcome to all of you. Today is one of the most gratifying moments in my life as I stand before you as the chairman of the Indian Institute of Architects Cochin Center. It's a privilege to welcome you all to the third edition of the Monsoon Architecture Festival, a flagship event of the IEA Cochin Center. This year is particularly special as we also celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Living Monsoon Design Talk Series, an initiative that has become truly world-class, path-breaking, and unparalleled. IEA Cochin Center is immensely proud to have conceived and nurtured this festival over the past decade. Year after year, we have sparked critical conversations around climate-responsive, culturally rooted, and sustainable design practices. With the participation of leading architects, thinkers, and visionaries from across the globe, we continue to explore innovative design solutions that embrace high rainfall, rich biodiversity, and vernacular wisdom. I must take a moment to pay tribute to the visionary leaders who laid the foundation for this remarkable journey. It was under the chairmanship of architect V.N. Ramachandran and his team that the first edition of the Living Monsoon Talks and the Monsoon Architecture Festival took shape in 2015. Their vision was further nurtured and developed through the dedicated chairmanships of architect Kurian Abraham and architect Vijit Jagadish, who led us through the challenges as profound as the 2018 floods and the COVID-19 pandemic. From its inception, Monsoon Architecture Festival has been a platform for global exchange. We take great pride in having welcomed over 50 speakers from more than 15 countries, each of whom have contributed immensely to the festival's success and global recognition. This year, we are deeply grateful to our 7 esteemed speakers and 18 panelists who have accepted our invitation to share their insights and expertise with us. We eagerly look forward to the conversations and collaborations that will unfold over the next 2 days. The impact of MAF in our region has been phenomenal. It has provided local architects with valuable exposure to global best practices and has been instrumental in promoting sustainable, climate-responsive design tailored for the topics. Furthermore, Monsoon Architecture Awards continue to spotlight emerging sustainable practices from our region, fostering a culture of excellence and innovation. One might wonder, how has the Cochin Center sustained this festival for a decade? The answer lies in our dedicated and passionate team. We are a collective that shares a unified vision, a commitment to excellence, and an unwavering drive to deliver quality content year after year. I extend my sincere gratitude to our past chairman, Architect V.M. Ramendran, Architect Raj Shekharan, Architect Bile Menon, Architect Ajit Vyas, and Architect Roy Anthony, who laid the foundation for our success with the first MAF. I also wish to acknowledge the current content team led by Architect Abhishek Xavier, Architect Kalpana, and Architect Varsha, whose dedication is the backbone of this event. A heartfelt thanks to our core organizing team, Architect Roshan, Architect Sharika, our secretary, Architect Binesh Sikumar, our treasurer, Architect Balamurugan, Architect Binoy, Architect Ragima, Architect Jackson Paul, Architect Linu, Architect Anjit, Architect Ronson, Architect Namida, Anuvind, Kuku, Chandi, Ajay, Nikita, and Architect Midun, Architect Shahir, Tobal, Rajesh, the list goes on. And each name is synonymous with dedication and excellence. I must also acknowledge the guidance and patronage of our senior members, Architect S. Gopakumar, Architect L. Gopakumar, Architect Sajan, Architect Santosh, Architect Mattai, Architect Lalichan, Architect K.C. George, Architect Najib, Architect Jibu, Architect Vishak, Architect Cyril, all of whose support has been invaluable in shaping this event. This year, we have revamped the festival format to offer greater variety and engagement. With multiple venues, the main stage, the festival stage, and 2 social corners, we aim to deliver diverse content and create an immersive experience. Architect Abhishek, our convener, will elaborate further on these exciting changes. A key highlight of MAF is the Monsoon Architecture Awards, which have grown in stature and popularity. This year, the award process includes a 2-stage jury, where the 17 shortlisted participants will present their work live, offering delegates a rare opportunity to witness the deliberation process firsthand. In addition to the intellectual discourse, we have a curated cultural program showcasing local art forms, artist exhibitions, and the flavor of our region, all meticulously prepared with the support of our venue partner, Hyatt. None of this would be possible without our sponsors. We are immensely grateful to our Platinum Plus sponsors, Lee Platino, Tropical, Trojan, and Butyl, and our Platinum partners, Greenlam, Simpolo, Shuko, Dorfen, and Cameo. Special thanks to our gold partners, RAK, Wienerberger, Eternia, Peastone, Green Glazing, Visma Home, Johnson, and Marble Center, and our silver sponsors, Caracol, Cam Windows, VM Sync, Vox, and Stone Lamp. We also extend our gratitude to our publication partner, Gadgeon, and newsprint partner, Vitra. Your generous support empowers us to bring our vision to life. It's now my honor and privilege to extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you. Sri NSK Umesh, our distinguished guest of honor, and the Honorable District Collector of Ernakulam. Sir, we deeply appreciate your presence and extend a warm welcome. Sri Chandrampilla, the respected chairman of GCDA and a cherished supporter of IES initiatives. Thank you, sir, for your unwavering support and a warm welcome. Our esteemed speakers, panelists, and jury members, your insight enrich our discourse, and we eagerly anticipate your contributions. Our IEA leadership, our Vice President Architect Jitendra Mehta, Honorable Treasurer Architect B. Sudhir, Kerala Chapter Chairman Architect Vinod Siriak, and all our chapter and center leaders, your presence is invaluable. Our award participants, invited guests, trade partners, media representatives, volunteers, and all the delegates, thank you for being a part of this incredible journey. And as we embark on the 2 days of thought-provoking dialogue, cultural celebration, and professional camaraderie, I invite you to engage deeply, share openly, and make MAF 25 a memorable experience to all. Thank you once again, and wishing you a meaningful and enriching festival ahead. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your words of warm welcome. And that is also words of an excited host looking forward to stimulating discussions and sessions that will prove meaningful to all those gathered here. And now may I invite your attention to a video on screen. To put it rather dramatically, often relationships blossom beautifully on screen with the rain in the backdrop. In a way, we hope we will listen to our chief guest address before we move on to the video. It is an honor to have with us the Honorable District Collector Sri NSK Umesh, IAS, known for his dedication to the people of the land.
Respected GCDA Chairman, Sri Chandran Pillai all wonderful organizers of the Monsoon Architecture Festival, all panelists, all distinguished architects, all intellectuals and all brilliant minds who are here at Kochi for this wonderful Monsoon Architecture Festival organized by IIC, IIA Kochi Center. It's indeed a need of the hour to discuss and deliberate on the future of architecture, how green our architecture should be. I was sub-collector of Wayanad in 2018 when the floods happened, when the catastrophic floods of 2018 happened. And all the tropes or all the conventional ideas or thoughts of architecture flipped and it was reversed. I still remember common people, the poorest of this society, grappling with how to live in low-lying areas, how to live in a post-2018 floods world. Because once a flood like this strikes in our life, every year when monsoon approaches, you live with fear. So at that time, I engaged with different architects, different architect groups, and I got a sense of how the architecture fraternity in India is coming in terms or coming to face the post-floods or the post-disaster Kerala. And in that regard, it's so aptly named Monsoon Architecture Festival, because it is appropriate that the things which we considered as best practices in the past are a thing of the past, and we ensure that the ideas, the ways we do our architecture in the coming years are all in line with green ideas, sustainable, so that the society, because we even talk about the future or survival of we are a fragile coastal state. Kerala is a fragile coastal state sandwiched between the sea and the Western Ghats. So how do we cater to the burgeoning demands of the communities without compromising the future of this planet itself? It is a very, very important question, and I'm sure that today's deliberations by different architects, I can see some of my friends here, some leading architects here, who have dedicated their lives to such ideas and such thoughts, because architecture of today, the right architecture of today is the one which will serve tomorrow also, which will serve future also. On that note, actually, Honorable Minister is coming for a meeting. That's why I am in a hurry and I had to leave. Otherwise, I could have engaged more. Mr. Chandran Pillai, who has been engaging with the Greater Cochin Development Authority and has been in the public space for more than 45 years in different roles, he will also be addressing all of you. I'm sure that this Monsoon Architecture Festival stimulates minds. I'm sure there are lots of youngsters here. There are lots of experienced veterans who are sitting in the front. I can see them. I hope that this dialogue between the veterans and the young leads to healthy discussions, leads to further beautiful ideas which will transform the landscape of architecture, which will transform the way we think about architecture in Kerala and in India. I wish this is such a beautifully organized festival. I thank the organizers for inviting me to this beautiful function. I wish each and every one of you all the best. Let the discussions which happen during this festival lead to a better tomorrow, a better Kerala and a better India. Thank you so much and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We request you to accept a memento on behalf of the organizing team. May I invite Architect Ramachandran on stage. Architect V.N. Ramachandran, past chair of IIA Cochin Center, will be presenting a memento to our chief guest as a thank you for his presence and also for your kind words, sir. And as someone who has witnessed the brutality of monsoon firsthand, I'm sure his words certainly resonate with our speakers and our guests here. Thank you very much, sir. As we say in Tamil, எண்ணிய முடிதல் வேண்டும் நல்லவை எண்ணல் வேண்டும். Subramanya Bharati's words, you must always fulfill your goals and your goals must be lofty. And we have a public servant, a civil servant who follows these words. So thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. At any given point of time, we have two options. Either you conform or you transform, we say. we have someone who is helming the GCDA, who believes in transformative changes. Before I invite Sir to speak, I have one little announcement to make. The festival venue will soon come alive. We will have the jury deliberations on the first category of awards on institution and workplaces. So I request our panelists of the category and the shortlisted participants to move towards the festival venue. At 10:30, we will begin the session at the festival venue. So now it is time to listen to our guest of honor for the day, who has been very closely associated with IAA, who always joins hands with the various initiatives that IAA always envisions. May I invite Sri Chandran Pillai to address the gathering. Welcome, sir. Cochin has been taking leaps and bounds in the way the spaces are being imagined, and sir has been in the forefront of several such developments. And we are truly delighted to have him with us.
All the participants in this August house. First of all, I'm very grateful to be here and proud because as in the capacity of GCDA chairman, I wish. Naturally, Kochi, as a fastly growing global city, its urbanization rate is amazing. I welcome you all for Kochi in this conference, which is dedicated for a deep thought on your profession. Profession means its present and future, and with a focus on Monsoon. And with a few words conclude my speech. Monsoon is, as a phenomenon, it is undergoing big changes. That is a point number one. Architectural profession is challenging all times. Now it is added with many other factors. This option of subject is very current. You are all well with your profession, and with wisdom which you gathered so far in your life will contribute in this conference. I think culmination is a convergence of that thought process, so should come as a directive to the governments on policy decisions. If that is happening so, it is good and worth. Secondly, our basic involvement in nature. Architectural talents, while involving in construction for better habitat and big construction installations, always consider the natural, regional specificity. It varies from part to part of this globe. We are in a special area, and lucky area, Kerala, which we call God's own country. Your focus may come to that too, I think. But the problem is, nature and monsoon are fastly changing to new dimensions. It is not nature's metamorphosis alone. It is related to human contribution too. There lies the question of global warming. It is a challenge to the entire humanity for its future. If we are not victorious in mitigating that challenge, it is a catastrophic, tragic end going to be for humanity or all living beings. Then, what is the latest stage on that? I mentioned that only. My intention is not to prolong the speech, I assure. Now, recently at Delhi, an international global warming high-level conference was concluded 2 days back. They cited certain alarming examples of big changes happening around us through global warming. Number one, Arctic area, that is the basis and genesis of this architectural profession. Now the architecture, Arctic and Greenland, because of this global warming, melting rate is high. Specifically, they said, after 1975 till date, almost the size of Germany's area with a 2-meter ice cube, if we are considering and thinking in that terms, that much melting already happened in Arctic Greenland area. It's the abundance and impact. They are saying if we are not able to control the temperature 1.5 degrees centigrade up to 2 within in a fast schedule 2100, there won't be any scope to continue this ecosystem where we all live, not only to human beings, to every creature. It is not an imaginary magical stem. It is a reality which is going to face. Number one. Number two, what is happening in Himalayan glaciers? That is melting, fast rate melting. Very big studies are already happened and scientific community, they all agreed with that, which also going to affect the entire India, including monsoon and rain glory. You have to think over that too while considering your subject matter. In a way, this meeting is in a good time. Now the globally most powerful statesman, Trump, is in power. He is one of the giant builders of America. But contrary to that profession, Trump is the number one villain in attacking the global efforts of the entire humanity on mitigation of global warming. He withdrawn from Paris Accord in his first term. This time, he again repeated that. The impact is big. Starting from scientific research too, all activities around are going to be spoiled. America is not a simple country, it is the mightiest country now, in all terms. I am not going to elaborate. That is not happening to that sector alone. It is not part of your conference, but I can say the proclaimed, celebrated American democracy is now in shambles. Constitution is not a text at all, divine text at all for Trump. It is thrown to. Thereby, Congress also. Financial allocations of the Congress is now not adhered by Trump. In such a situation, our monsoon discussion took care of these things also. There are a number of other questions are there. It is not fair for me to take much time. But I think these aspects also you have to go through while coming to the conclusions. I think this is going to be a meaningful meeting in your history with these words. Once more, I am thanking you all by my invitation and permission to be with you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request you to accept a memento on behalf of the MAF team. May I invite Architect Sebastian Jose, the IIA Gochin Center Chair, to present a memento as a thank you to our guest of honor. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your very powerful words, reminding how there is a metamorphosis of both nature, the human nature equation, also touching upon some political realities of the day. Thank you, sir. And now, as I had mentioned earlier, we have a video coming your way. 10 years, that is a decade of dialogue on monsoon architecture. It is only right that as we commemorate the 10th year, we take a look back at the paths traversed. Let's take a look on the Living Monsoon series.
In Kerala, God's own country, the monsoon is more than just a season. It's a symphony of life, a force that shapes everything it touches. It transforms the land, breathes vitality into the rivers, and inspires a unique way of living. But nowhere is this influence more profound than in our architecture. It was this timeless dialogue between climate and habitat that inspired the visionaries at IIA Cochin Center to embark on a groundbreaking journey in 2015. Living Monsoon was conceived as an odyssey to explore, share, and celebrate the architecture of monsoon regions around the world. It spanned continents and cultures, from the rain-drenched coasts of India to the lush landscapes of the Southeast Asia, the islands of the Pacific, and even the vibrant tropics of South America. Architects who had mastered the art of designing for the monsoon climate came together to share their stories, their challenges, and their triumphs. The journey culminated in 2017 at the Bolgati Palace Resort in Cochin with the first ever Monsoon Architecture Festival, a landmark event held in the Silver Jubilee year of IIA Cochin and the centenary year of the Indian Institute of Architects. At its core were the Monsoon Architecture Awards, a prestigious platform that honored architectural marvels from the tropical monsoon belt, each a testament to the creativity and resilience of architects who dare to design with the rain. The winners were chosen by a jury of international luminaries in monsoon architecture. The learnings from the series were compiled into a coffee table book eponymously titled Living Monsoon. More than just a book, it's a visual and intellectual feast, a curated collection of insights and imagery that captures the essence of monsoon-inspired design. However, over the years, the shadow of climate change had turned the monsoon clouds a pitch darker. The severe drought in 2017 was followed by the biggest flood of 100 years in 2018, and challenges continued to persist. Subsequent Living Monsoon design talks and the new categories of Monsoon Architecture Awards deliberated on these challenges. Since its inception, the Monsoon Architecture Festival has grown into a global phenomenon, attracting the best minds in architecture from every corner of the world, making the festival a true celebration of diversity and innovation.
Thank you. Of course, we have not come this far to only come this far. The journey continues, and now the MAF 2025 is ready to set the balls rolling. And now it is time to invite the convener, the delighted convener of the conference on stage. He comes with a certain amount of zest that is quite contagious. Please welcome Architect Abhishek Xavier, the convener of Monsoon Architecture Festival 2025, for the convener's address of the day. Welcome.
Our chief guest, the District Collector of Ernakulam, Shri NSK Umesh, IAS, our guest of honor, GCDA Chairman, Sri Chandramohan Pillai, distinguished guests, delegates, colleagues, sponsors, and friends, good morning and a warm welcome to you all. Allow me to quote from the epigraph of my urban design dissertation, written about 25 years ago, and turn the pages from there on. O afflicted city, lashed by storms and not comforted, I will rebuild you with stones of turquoise, your foundations with sapphires. I will make your battlements of rubies, your gates of sparkling jewels, and all your walls of precious stones. It was taken from the book of Isaiah. It was a personal acknowledgement of my own affliction and an expression of hope as best embodied through the act of city building. Affliction, hope, and the city. The city as an assimilation of collective aspirations has shaped my perceptions thereon. I had rolled up my sleeves to face that storm and build that perfect city, but soon realized I was too presumptuous to do it alone. Almost 10 years ago, back in Kochi, my hometown, my colleagues at the Indian Institute of Architects, Cochin Center, were weathering that storm. Having witnessed the arbitrariness of everyday architecture in our city, they had envisioned the Living Monsoon series, hoping that an ecosystem-based approach to architecture and urbanism, as best practiced in monsoon climatic zones around the world, would provide that shift in design practice in our city. We were soon hosts to concepts and practices of well-known practitioners from tropical monsoon and tropical rainforest regions around the world. They were deliberated upon to form a curated body of work through design talks, workshops, awards, publication, and festivals to inspire architectural practice in our city and beyond. The perforated walls, open pavilions, permeable grounds, blurred lines between land and water. Just when we had thought we had identified the common thread which interwove us together, it all began to unravel. In Kerala, 2017, the biggest drought in 100 years was soon followed by the biggest flood of the century. The extremities of climate change had set in. The monsoon winds that had brought us together now brought a foretaste of gloom. At their worst, cloudbursts, erratic rains, rising seas, flash floods, global warming took an unaccounted toll on personal lives. Plus, the urbanization of Kochi's estuarine coastal setting reflected the global trend of cities doubling in size the past 30 years. The development of river basins, increasing impervious surfaces, urban flooding, and the projected 3.6 mm annual rise in sea levels. We are vulnerably caught between the sea and the rock, and have had to review what life in the monsoons now meant for our cities, and review the premise of Living Monsoon from the viewpoint of resilience. Therefore, subsequent seasons of Living Monsoon held a mirror to our city's wounds. Resilient public spaces and placemaking workshops followed. However, such has been the pace of these unprecedented challenges in these monsoon regions that there are very few sensitively scaled, built examples to learn from. The components that make a sensitive and resilient monsoon city still remain hazy, and a clinical examination of our affliction remains. We are aware that the scale of our initiatives may not match up to these present-day challenges. However, we can look at our afflictions and fear fair and square. The Monsoon Architecture Awards, now in its third edition, was instituted in 2017 to identify and promote good practice examples that were sensitive to the climate, environment, and society of these zones. Project categories range from single residential buildings to complex public spaces. A loose assimilation of categories that may one day together embody this symbolic city. Eminent practitioners from these monsoon regions were invited to conduct the juries, setting the stage for a debate on what could constitute a repository of architectural solutions to sensitively build resilience both in our city and in monsoon climatic zones. The Monsoon Architecture Festival was proposed as a culmination milestone of each Living Monsoon series. It is a celebration of the architecture, urbanism, art, craft, and culture of these regions, bringing together practitioners in the fields of architecture and urbanism to speak of their experiences of climate-responsive work in monsoon regions. Today, with such an august gathering, I'd like to think that we have gathered the finest jewels from the monsoon regions to build that beautiful, sensitive, and resilient city. I'll move on now to our current event and how it has been organized for these 2 days. We have primarily two venues, the main stage and the festival stage. The main stage, where we are now gathered, will host the design talks of the speakers. Design talks are paired together. After the two design talks, we will have an informal moderated session with them, known as a bubble talks, where questions from the delegates are encouraged. This is after the design talks. These will be conducted within the main venue on either sides at the social corners. So that's the layout. So it broadly shows the location of the festival venue and the main stage venue. So this will be conducted within the main stage on either sides of the social corners. These sessions will be repeated in a similar manner across both the days. So we have 3 such sessions. The third edition of the ongoing Monsoon Architecture Awards had more than 200 entries across 5 categories. The entries were initially vetted by senior architects of Kochi and had about 200 entries across 5 categories, which were reviewed by our jurors. Our 4 jurors, including architect K.T. Ravindran from India, architect Tisara Tanapati from Sri Lanka, architect Madhura Prematilake from Sri Lanka, and architect Wendy Juhara from Indonesia, conducted the jury in person here in Cochin over 2 days on the 14th and 15th of February. They shortlisted 17 entries from these across 3 categories. These categories are institutions and workplaces, public spaces, single-family dwellings. For the first time, we are conducting the jury of these shortlisted entries in the open for the delegates. Almost all 17 of them have arrived from different parts of the tropical world to present these to us. These juries will be conducted at the festival stage just behind this hall. We have also put up a digital display of the 200 odd entries and the 17 shortlisted entries in the foyer. We have with us 18 past speakers of the Living Monsoon series. With them, we also have the 2 jurors who had shortlisted these entries. They will be with us in various panels, evaluating the works of award nominees under their respective categories. They will also share short presentations under respective categories. Architect K.T. Ravindran will head the jury panels. Each category will be either a morning or an afternoon session. Therefore, each session comprises of shortlisted presentations, following which we have the jury break, after which a couple of the panelists too will present on these categories. And at the end, we will have a brief panel discussion comprising of the panel where the delegates can pose questions to them. From these categories, we pulled out two threads for conversations, one on dwellings and homesteads, and the other on the Monsoon city, where we will have conversations across the panelists. On day 2, as a final session, we will have the award session at the main stage, where the winners of each category will be felicitated. The respective winners will get to repeat their presentation at the main stage. We have laid out the multiple venue format for you. You may refer the schedule to know in advance the session you would be attending. Once again, this is such a stellar gathering, and all our walls are made of precious stones. Enjoy your time. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. That is a bird's eye view of what's in store for you. Quite a wholesome experience is planned out, and we hope it will turn out to be a very successful and meaningful confluence for all of you. Before we proceed any further, last year we lost an eminent architect. We would like to honor his memory, the life and contributions of the late architect Eko Pravato. May we take a moment to pay tribute to him. Thank you. The work, of course, inspires and endures and lives on. He was, in fact, one of the past speakers who had contributed to the Living Monsoon series. We honor the invaluable contributions that he has made to further pushing the horizons of knowledge in the monsoon architecture conceptual. And now, time to again think of saving for future the various conversations that have taken place over the years in the Living Monsoon series. It is time to unveil a publication that commemorates the 10th anniversary of the Living Monsoon series. It will be a light reading on all the speakers who have participated and given their insights into the world of monsoon architecture over the decade, and will also delve deep into the 17 shortlisted entries that are considered for the Monsoon Architecture Festival Awards of this year. Now, in order to unveil the publication, to formally present it to the gathering, may we have on stage once again architect Sebastian Jose, architect V.N. Ramachandran, architect Ajit Vyas, architect Anjit Augustin, of course, Professors Robert Powell and Professor Philip Gode. If we could have you all here on stage to unveil the publication. Today, as we know, we always talk of how there is an overload of information on various social media and digital platforms. We are drowning in information while starving for wisdom, starving for knowledge. And we hope this publication will serve to be a storehouse, a repository of knowledge that has been gleaned across the years. And I'm sure the various shortlisted entries certainly spotlight brilliance. In fact, the very goal of the award is not to identify the winner, but to identify exceptional work in the field. We request all of you to join me on stage as we get ready to unveil the publication of the shortlisted projects. This would be more of a more of an in-depth presentation of the various entries that have made it to the final round of deliberations of the Monsoon Architecture Festival Awards. Let's have the book brought. And now the book, the publication will be unveiled. The content and reflections of the Living Monsoon series, with special emphasis on the entries of the third edition of Monsoon Architecture Festival. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting before you the publication Living Monsoon. It will live through the words in the book. A true alchemist is not the one who turns lead into gold, but it's the one who turns the world into words, we say. So this is certainly a reference material that will prove to be gold. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sirs. And with this, we are segueing, we are transitioning from the inaugural ceremony, the opening ceremony, to the technical sessions of the day. We have design talks organized with respected names from the field sharing their learnings with us. I am reminded of a few verses by Khalil Gibran from the poem called Fear. It is said that before entering the sea, a river trembles with fear. She looks back at the path she has traveled, and in front of her is an ocean so vast that to enter there means nothing but to disappear forever. But the river must take the risk of entering the ocean, because only then the fear will disappear. Only then will she know that it was never about disappearing into the ocean, it was about becoming the ocean. And here is someone, a speaker, who understands what it means to become one with nature, to harmonize with nature. In order to formally present, invite, and introduce our speaker for the very first design talk, may I invite on stage Architect Varsha, the Executive Committee member. If we could have Architect Varsha on stage, please. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. On behalf of IAA Coaching Center, a warm welcome to the 10th year of the Living Monsoon program. It's an absolute pleasure to kick off the third edition of the Monsoon Architecture Festival with the first speaker of the day. And what an honor it is to introduce a trailblazer in the world of architecture, someone I deeply admire and draw inspiration from, architect Shimul Javeri Kadri. As the founding partner of SJK Architects in Mumbai, she has been shaping contemporary design in India for over 3 decades. Her practice thoughtfully integrates climate responsiveness, cultural narratives, innovative technologies to create spaces that resonate with the vibrant Indian context. With over 110 award-winning projects across the country, Shimul's remarkable body of work includes the Nirvana Film Studio in Bangalore, the Automobile Design Studio for Mahindra & Mahindra, the Davashavatara Hotel in Tirupati, and the hotel at Bodh Gaya. Her contributions also extend to social and cultural spaces, such as the Rural Multi-Specialty Hospital for the JSW Foundation in Alibag and the Museum for Jain Heritage in Koba, among many others. Each project reflects her commitment to sustainability and contextual relevance, values we all aspire to uphold in our own practice. Her accolades are equally impressive, with 2 wins at the World Architecture Festival in Singapore in 2012, the Futura Green Leadership Award in 2012, the Chicago Atheneum Museum of Architecture and Design Award in the USA in 2016, and the Prix Versailles Award in France in both 2016 and 2022. In 2014, for her contributions to architecture, Shimul received a special mention as the prestigious Archvision Prize in Italy, often regarded as the Pritzker for women. Incidentally, she shared this honor with one of our other speakers of the festival, architect Anna Heringer. And it doesn't stop there. She has also been recognized with a merit list in 2021, the JKAYA Award in 2023, and an impressive 9 awards from the Indian Institute of Architects and the Indian Institute of Interior Designers, adding to her ever-growing list of accolades. One of our firm's projects has recently been selected for the UAE Guidebook for the 2030 Agenda for advancing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. SJK Architects has also earned a place on Architecture Digest India's AD 50 and AD 100 lists for 10 consecutive years. Beyond architecture, Shimul's dedication to social change is inspiring. She serves on the Advisory Committee for Gender at the Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai, contributing to the city's first gender-inclusive development controls rules. She is also a trustee for organizations like Akshara and Vipla Foundation, actively supporting women's empowerment and education. As someone who leads a small women-led design firm myself, I find her journey profoundly inspiring. Her dedication to design excellence, her advocacy for inclusivity, and her belief in the power of architecture to transform lives. I eagerly look forward to gaining valuable insights from her talk and engaging with her later today. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming architect Shimul Javeri Kadri.
Thank you very much, Varsha. Thank you to IIA Kochi. The IIA Kerala centers have clearly been pioneers. The entire country looks up to the way you guys organize. Looking forward to the next 2 days. I'm a little confused because I had expected to use my laptop, but I'm not going to be, so forgive me. But I guess I'll look at the screen. Don't these 2 screens function? The ones in front, I was told they would. Do I get to see the screens in front? Okay, great. I guess I'll just look at this screen then. So it's been 35 years of practice, and I recently coined this term in architecture of care, really based on something I saw recently. But it all begins for us with this view of our site, which is always a bittersweet experience. Sites are gorgeous, the sun comes in, there's greenery, there's gentle breezes, and we're all aware that as architects we have the power to change this into this. And this is exactly what we're all kind of up against, the impersonalization of architecture, what is against nature, what is against human beings, what does not work for us culturally. And based on this kind of imagery, we have established a set of things that we call our values. But primarily, I was very, very intrigued by this quote that Prem Chandavarkar gave in his keynote address at the Feminist Collective this year in February. And he spoke about how architectural meaning should privilege the voice of the inhabitant over the voice of the architect, relying on the slow evolution of an aesthetic of absorption rather than an aesthetic of expression, confined to the short duration of a creative act. Architecture demands an empathy within habitation, recognizing the complex nuances of all agents of inhabitation. This requires the act of design be preeminently an act of care. And I completely resonated with that. And that really resonates with the four big principles based on which we design. The first of which is, of course, respecting the earth and ensuring that despite everything we build in consonance with the sun and the wind, we ensure that we really weave through our site, understanding and respecting its topography, its trees. And we're always looking for those building materials that are sustainable, that will be the materials of today and tomorrow. The second big one for us has always been culture, because we believe that memory and emotion are things that need to be completely validated, the absence of which leads to alienation. And we also believe very strongly in the architect's role in bridging the past and the present. We love craft, we love innovation, and that's what we call validating human ingenuity. And lastly, we believe tremendously in how the individual and society needs to be integrated and facilitated through every single project that we design.
walk the dogs, but you just can't blame us. Our office is such. We're here to work, and sometimes we do. We play FIFA or race a car, but you just can't blame us. Our office is such. Our days start at 12 and nights never end. With the wind so soothing and the place so pleasing, you just can't blame us. Our office is such.
We are Nirvana Films, and we love our new office. Pure production bliss, now in a new outfit.
Wonderful when your client is a film production company and can design this film for you as a thank you gesture. Oops, I'm sorry. I don't know what quite happened. Okay, still don't know what's happening. Yes, the next project was really for us about weaving through a beautiful mango orchard. And we wove through it in some interesting ways, both metaphorically as well as physically. The idea was that if you're moving from a metropolis like Bombay to a coastal farmland with, rolling hills, coconut trees, etc., why couldn't the building be a little more organic, a little more playful? And here was our site, resplendent with coconut trees and mango trees. And I picked up the leaves from the site, and on the boat, on the way back, created a little site plan. That was literally our first site plan on the boat. And my client was a little uncertain, but very happy to go with the idea of pods, each pod being in the form of a leaf. And we went back and kind of explored this a little more. So the leaves kind of sit woven between the trees. And we realized that this form of the pod lent itself very well to the climate of Alibag, where there's a lot of rain. And if you really play with the roofs, droop them down on the southwest, raise them on the north, you could get significant rain coverage. And that's the building as we created it. It was entirely a concrete shell roof, but very little else. Steel columns with concrete inside them. This is the entrance. And this is the main veranda. And there is one space on the left, which is the den, which is completely air conditioned. And you can see the trees in the center between the pod really form the center of the project. Here you can see how the roof has gone up on the north, and then the three roofs kind of intersect, creating a lovely space in the middle. And in order to do this, we had to be very, very careful with our detailing. The glass had to just hit the roof correctly. Very simple linseed oil wood doors. And be very careful with our lighting so that we could not puncture that ceiling at all. Thank you for activating this. And the third one was a very interesting project on Palitana, which is the sacred hill for the Jain religion. People only walk up that hill. No electricity is permitted on the hill. Everything is lit by candles. Nobody lives up there. And what they wanted really was a pavilion where they could simply assemble it. But herein lies the rub. We couldn't build in metal at all. We had to find any material other than metal to build this pavilion. So it was a very interesting kind of set of deliberations wherein we decided that timber would probably be our best bet. So glue laminated timber is what we worked with. This is the foothill pavilion, and then there's one more that was built right on top. And unfortunately, this sustainable timber is only available, this level of sustainable timber is not yet available in India, but it was a great opportunity for us to work with Arup and create this timber joinery and actually get this manufactured. Here you can see how just creating a module, repeating it, and getting it built so that you just assemble it at site was what we did. Here you can see how the glulam pieces were being created. They were all created and then shipped to India with the steel inserts so that you literally come in and fix them. A lot of intricate detailing to connect the steel and the glulam, very small quantities of steel. And this is the pavilion on the foothill, and this is the pavilion that was built right on top. For me, this has been a very important aspect, considering that we build across the country, creating cultural identity. The feeling is that we really need to validate memory and emotion. This is what we feel anchors human beings and stops them from a very negative process of alienation. All the extremely right-wing ideologies come from that invalidation of emotion and the creation of extreme alienation. So we've really enjoyed actually the religious projects that have come to us, and we've enjoyed interpreting them in a way that they speak about philosophy or memory or emotion. I'm going to start with this wonderful hotel at Bodh Gaya, which was for us literally a journey of memory and emotion. Bodh Gaya, as we all know, sits in Bihar, and the short ride from Patna to Bodh Gaya was a very interesting one, and we did some research on that. Bodh Gaya is where the Buddha received enlightenment, and Bihar is a relatively underdeveloped state in India. And both these are some of the rationale for why we built the way we did. For us, being in Bodh Gaya was quite an experience. After everything else around us, what we really experienced was divinity and extreme serenity. And these were the two things that we wanted to bring into the project. But the other important thing for us was that there was this entire brick building industry around Bodh Gaya. Brick kilns, there was also lovely terracotta tiles, which I'll speak about later. And there was this whole tradition of building in brick through the Nalanda University. We were very inspired by these brick details, and while we used most of the details, we were not able to actually do the bolts in brick due to some ISI codes, but the rest of the brick details is what we used. The site really sat in an area that was kind of surrounded by mostly what appeared to be villages of fairly landless laborers. For us, it was important not to make a huge statement, but build something that was softer, gentler, more serene, almost timeless. And this is one of the images of the main courtyard, showing you how the brick was dealt with. The quality of brick was not great, which is why most of it is painted over. And it would have been very expensive and actually uses topsoil to use much better quality bricks, which is why we took this decision. And you can see how the brick jams and the little details follow a lot of the Buddhist details from from the older Buddhist projects. This idea of layering was another important one, which really helped us manage the intense heat of the area. So there's a veranda all around before you get to the public spaces, and you view everything through these layers. We also worked with this double roof. We took the idea of the vault but created it in stained concrete and then a simple steel and tile roof above it. But that really helps again in terms of insulation. The cost of it worked out to similar to what we would have done if we had used puff panels and false ceilings. So we felt fairly justified in being able to do that. We did have to go with Aerocon blocks for the residential buildings because they created a much better U value. And then, these are big discussions. The U value helped us save a lot more energy than the kind of showmanship of a brick building. This was one of our real wins, which was being able to convince the clients, the PMCs, that we really wanted the local tiles. And this is how they create these local tiles. The potter, these are actually farmers that build the tiles the way a potter does, and then just, halves it right through the center. And I think it was about 25 families in 12 villages that created these tiles for us, which we've used across the project. It took a lot of interaction, and it happened, and they worked beautifully. And that's our Bodh Gaya project. The next one that was absolutely wonderful for us is this idea of using mythology in a hotel project. Tirupati, as everybody knows, is one of the wealthiest of temples, has a huge footfall every day, not just every year, and is the abode of Lord Balaji. And, what was really important for us is that given how intense the process is of getting to venerate the Lord and the number of people that accumulate every day for this fairly ritualistic form of religion, we really wanted to create something that would be fairly, that would be serene, divine, and still draw from the tenets of the religion. The site is on the base of the Saptagiri Hills, and we drew from the plan of the temple, which is orthogonal, fairly introverted, and circumambulatory. And you can see what the temple looks like. But this was our design in a snapshot, where we created this walkway and a water body that connects the public and the private spaces. And we drew from the idea that this is what exists at the top of the temple, and alongside most large temples in India, where there's a large water body with a mandapa in the center. And this is the building that we created with the Lotus Cafe or the all-day dining right in the center. You can see. And the other important aspect of this project was the 10 avatars of Vishnu. This has many significances, that of evolution of humankind, and we felt it was a wonderful way to bring the idea of the Lord Vishnu into this project so that it was more kind of universal. And we have these, sorry, that's my daughter calling. So the 10 avatars of Vishnu were then integrated into the overall plan, and you can see how the swimming pool area is the Matsya, which is a little more obvious. There was the Rama, which was the banquet, the Krishna restaurant, and so on and so forth. And we used the iconography from these 10 avatars to design the interiors, an example of which is the Krishna restaurant, which was all blue but used several little details like the Krishna's feather, the bowl of dahi, which is on the far wall, the flutes, etc., and really played with this idea of the mythology in the project. And the third aspect, validating human ingenuity. This has been perhaps the most fun thing for us, wherein collaborating with communities, drawing from local wisdom has been extremely important. And the next project that I'm going to show you is actually under construction and not complete, but so exciting from so many different perspectives that I had to show it, and so much about social sustainability, environmental sustainability.